Plaintiff Stephanie Castro says her boyfriend used to be friends with the defendant, who's nothing but a freeloader who mooched off of Stephanie's boyfriend. Stephanie claims the defendant was helping her move when he decided to carry her television on his head, then broke it. So she's suing. Defendant Christopher Battle says he and Stephanie's boyfriend were good friends until he started dating Stephanie. Christopher insists he did not damage the TV, and the alleged damage wasn't even brought to his attention until days later. Christopher's countersuing for emotional distress because Stephanie ruined his relationship with his best friend.
Start with you.
Okay. I met him in June 2008. He's a friend of my boyfriend's. They've been friends for about 5 years. And I pretty much tolerated him because he's his friend.
Tolerated him? What did you have to tolerate? What was...
Well, he's a little rough around the edges.
In what way?
Pretty much a freeloader.
Oh.
Wow.
And
he hasn't worked since you've known him?
Not since I've known him.
Well, how do you conclude he's a freeloader in 1 year?
Well, because he didn't have cable sports package, and he's always at...
Wow.
I don't either.
Wow.
That's okay, but you're not a sports addict.
Wow.
He likes sports just like my
I
boyfriend.
like sports a lot, and I go over my buddies. But I
see,
want to
that's
watch
okay,
certain
but you
things
can
that I
still
don't
afford
have
it.
on my cable.
But you can still afford it. You have a job, so you can do that.
He can too.
Wow.
Let me hear from you. She said you're a freeloader because you go over to his house to watch the ball games.
Okay, first, let me
Go ahead.
let me give you background about the situation. I've known Dre for 5 years. Been good friends. During that period of time, he was married. His family spent time with my family. We always got together for sporting events, whether it was his place or my place.
Your house, what do you all do? Play cards? Because you don't have any cable.
Well, I had cable.
Or you don't have the package or something.
Of course I had cable.
You have the package.
You
you have the sports package.
No, I didn't have
Well,
sports
then,
package.
you all play cards when he come over.
Okay. Well, you know.
Am I right or wrong? Stand up. When you go over there, you have to play cards, right?
No, that's not true.
What do you do?
We watch sports and we play Xbox.
You say he doesn't have the package.
Well, at the time
You
when
better go check out what they're doing over there, man. But they contradicting each other, talking about what they do.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Over this period of time, you know, he went through a bit of a divorce last year. And, you know, I supported him through it. He met her, introduced her to me. And we never had a problem up to that point. Okay. Now, when I met her, then that's when we probably had an issue.
Tell me about any other background you want me to know, and then about the television you're suing for.
Well, they returned to North Carolina, he and his family. They didn't have any place to stay. They asked my boyfriend if he could stay with, if they could stay at his apartment because he was staying with me off and on. So he said, sure, no problem. So it's supposed to be about 2 weeks, and it ended up being like a month. I said, you're gonna have to tell them to leave. They won't leave if you don't tell them. And they didn't pay anything. He didn't ask them for anything because he's so nice. And I didn't have a problem with that if he didn't.
Whoa. I was looking for a place when I was moving from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
He offered for me to stay. I said, well, we'll pay you X amount of dollars. He went out of his way to say, no, don't do that. We friends because you never know when I'm gonna be in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's no problem.
She pretty much said that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. She
But
pretty much said that he's agreed not to charge you.
Freeloader is different from...
All right, we're past that.
Okay,
She's talking about you were freeloading for that cable.
Okay, yeah.
And we've established that is true.
I appreciate that.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you.
Give me some background on the television and what happened.
Okay, I purchased a television in April 2008. And, he and I moved it. Andre and I moved it first.
From where to where?
From my house to his apartment. And it
To his apartment?
Right, to his apartment.
Uh-huh. What did you want to say? Stand up. You have to stand up and tell me your name.
Andre.
All right.
Actually, I was
Tell
living
me your last name. I'm not going to check you for warrants. Go ahead.
Andre Jackson.
All right, Andre Jackson. I'm just kidding. Check on him, man. Anytime somebody don't tell you your full name,
Right.
in
Like,
court,
whoa.
go ahead.
No, actually, I was living in a one-bedroom apartment originally, and then we had moved into a three-bedroom. When we moved the TV ourselves, we moved it to the one-bedroom. Where the move came in is when he helped us move from one bedroom to three bedroom, and also there was a move from where our house was to where the apartment is we're in now.
Okay. And how was the TV damaged, ma'am?
Well, my oldest son and Chris were carrying the television. He gave them the television to carry. I was at the apartment waiting for them. And my oldest son said television was too heavy. He couldn't help him carry it, help Chris carry it. So he told Chris, okay, we have to stop. I can't carry it. So Chris carries it on his own. They only had to carry it about maybe 30 feet. And from what my son told me, when I screamed and carried on because my television is broken when I turned it on, that he carried it on his head.
On his head?
On his head.
Not
the flat
possible.
screen part, the 46-inch flat screen.
Not possible.
Carried it on his head.
It's not possible.
Like it was books on his head.
Little books on my head, huh?
Like it was books.
All right.
Sir?
All right. Well, the day of the move, when he showed up to pick me up, there was no help. I'm like, okay. So it's just me and him. It's a 12-hour move. So I missed my Halloween with my baby girl. So that's no problem. The TV was in his apartment. There was no power. It was completely dark when we was moving. Only thing we had was one candle to move by. So yes, me and her son tried to get the TV we got the TV from the living room to outside. He couldn't carry it. So I said, okay, I have it. I'm not a weak person. It's a 46-inch flat screen TV. I'm not gonna sit there and try and balance it on my head, you know.
So what did happen?
Basically, I carried it like this. Her son walked there side by side, was no problem. I got it there to their home, placed it down, screen out. The move was successful. At the end of the day, I got home probably about 1 in the morning. He dropped me off, and 2 days later, he called me about the crack on the TV.
2 days later?
2 days later.
Is that true, ma'am?
That's true because
Why did it take 2 days to call him?
Because we have like a lot of television, so it wasn't a big deal. We figured, okay, he
Why
carries
is
the
it a big
television.
deal today?
It's a big deal today because I can't watch it.
How do you know he damaged it?
Because there was a like round spot on the top of the television, and I figured that was his head.
And that was because your and that was because your son told you he was carrying it
Yes.
on his head. You have any evidence of that? Or
I
did
sure
he submit
did.
a letter or what
Letter
do you
from
have?
my son.
Did you
and
speak with him
pictures.
about it?
Well, I asked Andre to call him, and
Come
he
on
gave
up. And
two
what
different
was
stories.
discussed and what did he tell you, sir?
He said he explained to me how he carried it, and he said he didn't think he broke it.
Your witness want to speak?
You want to say that?
State your name.
Kimuel Battle, his
What do
brother,
you want to
oldest
tell me?
brother. I have no animosity towards Dre because I have helped him with several moves as a friend or whatever. The big issue is the timing with the TV. They waited so long because if it was so obvious, you'd have called right then. And like
Yep.
I say, I work with a moving company. And
You never plugged it in?
Never plugged it in.
2 days later, you plugged it in.
Yes, when we set it up. Yes.
You're countersuing $1,000 for emotional distress.
Yes. Well, like I said, we've been good friends up to that point.
If you've been good friends, then you don't get emotional.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the friendship was basically cut off at that point. I mean,
Because you're no longer friends, you want money.
well, it's not even that. It's the whole point of me being brought here to begin. I don't feel like I should have been brought here to begin with as friends.
Okay, well, you don't get an emotional distress claim for that, sir. Ma'am, you have a problem here. You waited, as they say, 2 days. And secondly, his assistance to you is called a bailment, meaning he is in possession of your item for your benefit, not for his benefit. He carried it for your benefit. And in order for you to collect on a negligence claim when someone is helping you with your item, you must prove that he committed extraordinary negligence, not just regular negligence. But one, you haven't proven extraordinary negligence. Two, you waited 2 days, so I'm not convinced that it wasn't damaged within that 2-day period. So therefore, your case is dismissed. You have not proven it. Have a good day.
I never had a problem with him from the beginning.
Yeah,
The issue was between me and her. It wasn't between me and him.